New York State has emerged as a national leader on electric school buses, unlocking new opportunities for current and future workers in school transportation services. It has a bold plan to achieve 100% zero-emission school buses. There are roughly 50,000 school bus workers all across New York State. Scaling up and skilling up require tremendous investments in programs for drivers, mechanics, dispatchers, installers, electricians, administrators, and scores of other occupations. The transition to electric school buses won't be easy, but with adequate resources and able partners, we can ensure a just transition through workforce development that provides strong labor standards, high-quality, in-demand training, and equitable access to jobs powered by electric school buses in New York State. And this transition is already underway. There are real-world experiences for us to share and learn from.
As soon as we started to get the buses and realized it's not much different than we've been doing our whole careers.
My experience with gas, diesel, and electric, I would choose electric every time. It's so much better. It's quiet, it's smooth, it's just like driving your car. It's really great.
The school bus is still the school bus, in which every mechanic will still have an opportunity to perform the work that they need on the vehicle.
Diesel school buses and electric school buses are similar in some ways and different in others. Diesel buses and electric buses are typically similar in size and shape. This means that they can carry the same number of students and generally operate on the same routes. Both operate on the same basic principles. They have a chassis, wheels, an engine, and a transmission.
A mechanic or a technician's perspective are always challenging. The really exciting part to me is with each one of those transitions, there's an opportunity for our workers, for the technicians in the field, to really grow their skill set.
This transition will bring about changes for our school transportation workforce. We can learn from those who have already faced these challenges.
As long as you have the right partners in place, the right training in place, and the right systems in place, you're going to be able to see where you're going. You're going to be able to get through any obstacle knowing that you're safe.
The fears were, can these buses make the routes? Will they work in cold weather? Can our technicians work on these from what they've been used to their whole careers? Me being a mechanic in my career early on, I also had that fear.
So when the first few buses came in, I drove one around, I said, we got this.
It's intimidating, but starting early and moving it forward in a smart manner will get you to success.
It's going to be more technical in some levels, but for our folks that can manage a diesel engine right now, this is going to be different, but in many ways it'll be simpler.
The reality is, it's just going to change a little bit. Fueling a diesel bus is going to be similar to fueling your electric vehicle. We all have to fuel them up so that they're ready to take on the next day. Same thing with an electric vehicle. The good thing is an electric vehicle is, for most people, you plug it in and you walk away.
That'd be the most important thing, is get the right training.
It's not that the industry is going to go away. The mechanic that's been there, they're still going to be needed there because they still have to change the tires. They still got to change the brakes. They still have to do the seats. All the stuff that these mechanics or technicians have been doing their whole careers, that's still going to be there. There's going to be added training for people to evolve and be even better. Now I'm an electrical technician on a EV bus.
Of course, there will also be some new skills that workers will need to learn in order to work on electric buses. Overall, the transition will create new job opportunities for drivers and mechanics to learn new skills. Drivers will no longer need to worry about refueling their buses with diesel fuel. Instead, they will need to learn how to charge their buses using charging stations. Electric school buses have different handling and acceleration characteristics than diesel buses. Drivers will need to adjust their driving style accordingly. Electric buses have a limited range, so drivers and dispatchers will need to be more mindful of their routes and charging schedules. Mechanics will no longer need to perform oil changes or other diesel fuel maintenance tasks on electric buses. However, they will need to be able to diagnose and repair problems with the electric powertrain, battery systems, and charging infrastructure. Drivers and mechanics will both need to be aware of the safety precautions that need to be taken when working with electric buses, such as wearing appropriate personal protective equipment. Despite the changes, the transition to electric school buses is a positive development for the workers and the environment. Electric school buses are cleaner, quieter, and more efficient than diesel buses. They also offer smoother rides and improved air quality for the precious cargo, our children.
It's a job for the future.
There are some valid safety concerns around electric buses.
There are so many safety features built into an electric bus in order to keep the passengers and the driver safe. They are purposely built with extra safety features. They are purposely built knowing what is the cargo for these vehicles.
To prepare workers for this transition, we're designing a course that will demystify the technology. We're going to make this course available to school bus workers before the buses even get on their lots. The training will cover from the basics of battery-powered electric school buses and how they're different from diesel school buses to what do I need to know about charging? And importantly, are electric buses safe to operate? This training will complement other learning offerings from unions, manufacturers, and school districts.
In my mind, the familiarization course is probably the best place to start. It should be a pretty low investment of your time, but it'll give you that comfort to understand, it's really not that much different than the school bus that you drive on and operate on a daily basis.
The technicians see all of these orange cables and they almost want to back away from it. But once they attend a class and they actually see how easy it is to work on, and once they recognize how similar an electric bus is to the buses that they already have, a lot of those fears go away. And then we actually see them coming the other direction and that they get enthused and they want to learn more.
A familiarization course would be extremely valuable because more often than not we find that the unknown is typically the biggest barrier to coming through and understanding something.
The scale and scope of New York's zero-emission school bus goals can seem daunting, but with targeted, high-quality, no-cost training resources, we can turn worry into enthusiasm about this technological transition. We know New York's student transportation workforce is up to the challenge of helping to create cleaner, safer communities. The Workforce Development Institute is a partner for this workforce, and we're actively developing training resources to equip them for this task. Watch for future videos that will provide a more detailed, instructive look at how we will help our workforce make the transition to electric school buses.